Whoop. Three. Three.
Oh my god.
What?
My fucking fire alarm's going off. 1 second.
Well, I'll start the show, I guess, while Scotty's gone. And he'll join us as we enter. Because we're starting in 3. I'm gonna go slowly. Here's a nice moment. How's everyone doing? Pre-record. This will be gone from the podcast version. This is video only. Scotty's gone. Just your old Uncle Ryan. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I'm gonna say this because I didn't say it on the air. We have a phone number now. Call us. Leave a voicemail. Ask any questions you like or thoughts about anything. We have that now. You can do that. It'll come up on the screen at some point if you're watching this video. I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast for a couple weeks because I just want to see if we get any voicemails. But we have one. We have a phone number. Was it? 2525 ring PR 2525 ring PR. That's true. That's all true. The podcast listeners don't know this yet. Only the video guys know this. You know this. Call now or your first 30 minutes free of something. I don't know. For your first 30 minutes of the show is free. God, do I need to change the Twitter logo on the bottom left of this video from a bird to an X now? I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. I hope everyone is doing good today. I'm doing fairly fine. I'm a little tired. A little stressed about things. The writer's strike is still happening. The actor's strike is still happening with zero signs of slowing down. Zero signs or anything stopping, but everything's gonna be okay. All right, here you go. Scotty's back, and he's gone again. He's here and he's gone. All right, perfect. That's ideal. That's what we want. That's the Ring Post Radio guarantee, I think. All right. Alrighty. We'll get started here as Scotty's back.
Just go for it. It's nonstop right now. I'm gonna lose my.
All right. Then we'll go in 3, 2, 1. Everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that records during the middle of a fire. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the fireman himself, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just wonderful. There's no better way to wake up than have a fire alarm go off in your fucking ear.
Is it still going off? Should you be concerned?
No, we're good now. It was just bad. It's fine. We're good. We're good,
folks. We're good.
It is a beautiful day. I don't really think we have much wrestling to talk about today, but we'll get there. We'll see at the end of the tunnel.
No, it's definitely one of those weeks this week of we get this every once in a while, a week of wrestling where it's just like the calm before a storm. You know what I mean? Like it's just like before everything really hits the fan.
Is there a storm this time around?
Not really. I think next week is just like a lot of previews, and then after that, then we start getting into everything.
It's pretty relaxing little run here.
Yeah, we'll have a laid back sort of show as Scotty burns his house down. We'll have a more laid back kind of show. We still got a lot of topics for you today, of course. We're going to be talking about Victory Road, which is an Impact's pay-per-view that took place last Friday night.
That'll keep the people listening.
Hey, look, if Mike and JD aren't going to do that, then we're going to steal their gimmick. Mike
went back to doing it, so
I know, I saw that too. We're going to talk about the WWE UFC merger, which is officially taking place, according to reports, this Tuesday, along with talking about a little preview for the CMLL 90th anniversary show, big show.
Anyone else forget that they were merging? Because I did.
How can you forget? It's happening soon. And then we have a bunch of other discussion topics that we'll sort of get to, and other news bits that we'll get to. But we'll start off with that merger. We'll start off with WWE and UFC merger because I feel like that's it's finally happening. The WWE is officially being sold, or as reports are to be believed, the WWE and UFC are officially merging together this Tuesday to form the new TKO Group Holdings. It's expected to close this Tuesday, September 12th. There was a press release and everything, but that's all basically what you need to know is that, yeah, it's officially happening. WWE is sold. It's going to merge on Tuesday, and we'll see the fallout. I think that's the biggest question I have for you, Scotty, is that we knew this merger was happening. We knew it was going to happen for a while, but now that we're here, what is going to be the fallout? What do you think the fallout of this merger looks like?
A lot of people are going to lose jobs because that's how that goes.
Yeah. Immediately, people backstage all over the place, and both companies are going to lose their jobs. I would believe that. Do you
Yeah.
think wrestlers? Do you think wrestlers have a lot to fear? I know
I
there's a
don't
lot
think
of wrestlers' contracts currently up. Apparently,
I don't know if it's that many wrestlers, but I wouldn't be shocked if you saw like a handful.
Mhm.
Just, because that's again how these things go. If you saw like I feel like anytime we hear about releases anymore in this company, it's like they release like NXT talent, just
Sure.
kind of like excess talent that no offense to them, but aren't going to be a big thing, and they just let them go. So I could see that. I could definitely see that happen.
Hmm.
Which sucks, obviously, because you don't want to see anyone lose their job, but that's the reality of these things, the reality of these sales. I'm sure it will happen in the UFC as well. Though the UFC like pays their fighters like, you know, nothing. So that's kind of like a big topic there anyways. Like I'm pretty sure like the difference between what the top wrestler gets paid and the top UFC fighter gets paid probably isn't a lot, but if you look like the middle wrestler, so say like I don't know, Austin Theory, and then I
Yeah.
can't name a fighter, but you get the point. Like that level, Austin Theory probably gets paid way more.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely interesting because maybe cuts will come more likely on the WWE side then because of that. But we'll have to wait and see. I think backstage though will be more obvious, because they're gonna have one team now in a lot of ways for certain situations.
That is probably true. I mean, I think that's not necessarily true just of how like they pay their fighters, but maybe also with backstage stuff is that like this idea of it is technically the UFC buying and merging the WWE, and they're forming this new group right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that like that firing process of people, losing jobs in the back office and stuff. Like I feel like that's going to be more WWE people losing their
Mm,
jobs than UFC, just because it's like UFC
yeah.
people are like, oh, we're sort of. I know Vince McMahon has a good say in all these things, but I'm sure it's going to be like, oh no, we have good people. We're going to keep these people. You have to let go of your people. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's not going to be a 50-50 split. I feel like it's going to be like, I don't know, 75-25 or something.
Yeah, it's probably like the higher people,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I think as we saw with that, I don't remember who posted it, but like long ago we saw kind of the chart of who's going to be in what position, and it was like there was a good like split between UFC people and WWE people, and I think that's what it'll come down to, and I think a lot of people probably are prepared for that anyways. Um, I just don't know if it'll have a lot of effect on wrestlers. Now, I could be totally wrong because I'm sure they have to cut some cost anyways here and there. So we'll just have to wait and see. But like, I don't see, you know, any big stars getting cut. WWE's making record money again. I feel like we say this every year, but this year they're also hot as a product. So like, it's not just that Saudi money that they're making and the TV money, it's biggest attendance in pretty much every location. Like I saw Fightful reported that SmackDown in Boston the other day was the highest TV or whatever, and I was like, that's insane to
It
me.
feels like every week it's the highest
Yeah,
ever.
which I mean should tell you all you need to know about WWE and what they're doing. They're not going to ruin their ecosystem in terms of talent, I think as much. In terms of backstage, yeah, that anything's possible. Um,
I'm
we'll
looking
have
at
to wait and see.
I'm looking at the I couldn't I'm trying to look up that image you're talking about of like who's in charge of what. But I
Yeah, I
did.
have no idea where someone found that.
Yeah, it was in a press release by Endeavor, I believe, and so I'm trying to look that up. But we talked about it before, the new board members for the TK Group Holdings, and just looking at it again, we didn't really talk about it at the time, but just looking at it again, I mean, there are currently four WWE people with one more to be appointed, and then there are 6 Endeavor people. So yeah, Vince McMahon has a lot of control, and Ari Emanuel of Endeavor has a lot of control, and I'm sure Nick Khan also has a lot of control for the WWE side. But there is more Endeavor people and people in the board than there are WWE people, but which I also just find a little bit interesting. But yeah, it's officially happening, and I think that's wild to see what's going to happen. Obviously we talked about the firings. Do you think that there will be more WWE, UFC personality, I'll say, fighter and wrestler interactions? Is Conor McGregor finally going to show up on Monday Night Raw?
Conor McGregor can show up in UFC.
That's probably true. Is Brock Lesnar going to show up in UFC again? Is that something that maybe not as a fighter, but are these going to get more and more interactions between the two companies on screen? I think that's another question I have.
I mean, more is essentially an upgrade from nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
one person even is like more. So yeah, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. I think there'll be opportunities. You may be at a big show, you bring in a UFC fighter that, I don't know, maybe has a connection. Here's the thing with the UFC now, no one has really star power, I think, internationally,
Mm-hmm.
outside of like, I don't know, McGregor's lost pretty much all his steam. So it's like perfect timing, I guess, for WWE, right, Rhonda? But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know of anyone that would make sense because I just don't see WWE wanting to do that right now. Like they rather bring in Logan Paul.
Sure. Yeah.
And you would too because he's always in the news and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a UFC fighter has nearly as much star power as Logan Paul.
That's true, but maybe that's something that Endeavor would want, is use the WWE brand to make a new star for the UFC.
Dana White might kill himself. That happens.
Next pay-per-view for WWE is Fastlane, which is October 7th. Not counting NXT.
There's probably a song for that. Ride in the fast lane. I don't know. They probably have some shitty song for it.
It's performed by Kid Rock, probably.
Fast lane sounds terrible.
Are you looking up songs right now for the Fastlane?
No.
Perfect. Dang. But I'm excited to see what takes place. I think those are the two big changes I could see what happens. They're firings or more crossovers. I'd be fascinated to see what we get out of it. But yeah, because I imagine it's going to be crossover stuff. I don't imagine.
I hope no one loses their job.
Me too. But we all know the reality of
impossible.
Mergers. Yeah,
I think it's legitimately impossible. But I hope no one loses their job.
I agree. Well, speaking about someone getting rid of a job, I guess it was reported.
I really wish I had someone ready to just say there.
It was reported this week via himself that Kevin Kelly, AEW and New Japan commentator, said that he'll be gone from New Japan commentary, quote, at some point soon. Says he'll be calling the Destruction events in Tokyo on October 9th, and then Wrestle Kingdom New Year Dash in January 4th and 5th. But he also says
sounds like when it will be it.
Yeah, he also says he'll leave at some point soon, but I'll leave it to New Japan to announce it or not. So yeah, at the very least on the docket, he has till Wrestle Kingdom and New Year Dash. If he stays beyond that, it doesn't seem likely, but thoughts on New Japan losing Kevin Kelly and AEW gaining more Kevin Kelly, I presume.
He needs to get better at Collision.
He needs to get better at Collision. Oh, hold on. These are hot Collision commentary takes.
I think he's pretty rough on there.
Why do you say that?
He just seems like he's not as connected with the product, doesn't know what's going on
Hmm.
like he would with New Japan, and I think that's what obviously Charlton helps him a lot with. So I hope that in time, maybe when he's not having to juggle both, that happens. Um, because I think it's like night and day
Yeah.
on Collision compared to what Ricabani was doing on Collision. Because even though Ricabani doesn't do AEW, he still felt connected. He still felt knowledgeable, and into it. I listened to Collision and like last night, for example, I was like, oh, this is a rough night for him. And don't get me wrong, putting adding Jim Ross to the main event every week probably doesn't help anyone. But I think that's like job number 1, 2, 3, and 4 for when he switches. And in terms of New Japan, whatever. Like I don't know. He didn't. I think I I saw a lot of people talk about like who's going to be their new person. It could just be Chris. Like I think Chris does perfectly solid. You just need to. You're going to need to add a personality to be there with him consistently.
Hmm.
But I think Chris could do play by play very well. But you want to hear his facts and stuff. So like that's the balancing act. It's a hard gig to commit to,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like I don't know what they're paid, but you got to go back and forth to Japan for essentially every month
Hmm.
if you want to do the big shows. And I'm sure that's what New Japan should be looking for, because Kevin Kelly started to do that a lot less. You don't want to me, like if anyone's remote, and I understand being remote, but if any of their commentary was ever remote, I would just switch to Japanese commentary because like the sound would just be ruined
Yeah.
on the shows. So for New Japan, I hope they could find someone. Um, they have Ricabani there for the US shows. He's not going to do Japan full time.
No.
Um, but if you wanted to mostly go with Charlton and then bring in Ricabani for certain shows, maybe it would work. Because I think that would be interesting. Because I think he did a really good job when Strong went there.
Hmm.
I just think he's the best in the business today, so that helps. But yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of people out there,
Yeah, I was gonna
either.
say, the only other people that I think that could work in New Japan that have been on the New Japan Strong tapings would be Matthew Raywalt from Impact, but of course he's got
Hmm.
the Impact stuff. But it's taping, so he could easily do that in theory.
Yeah, good.
But he's not.
Hannafin's good, but they're not going to do him.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that like Raywalt and both Charlton, they're both sort of like kind of color commentary. They're not
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
lead commentator.
I do think Charlton can be a play-by-play, but you want his color commentary, I'm sure, more than that.
Exactly, exactly. Um, and then beyond that, I mean, and that beyond that, like if you really want like good commentary, it's like pulling like Lanny Leonard, Lenny Leonard out of the of the depths of doing nothing right now, and pulling him back and doing commentary. Like there isn't really like I'm trying to think of like people who I don't who's the commentator guy for like West Coast Pro. I think he's not that
I have
bad.
no idea. I don't
Exactly.
know.
I have
I don't
no idea who any of these people's names are, but
They're
he's not that
probably
bad.
gonna have to find someone new overall, or just someone's like that doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But the most important part to me is you have to find someone that will connect with the product. You don't want to just have someone in there call a match.
Yeah. Or at the very
No,
least
you want someone that's knowledgeable.
willing to put the work in to figure it out.
Yeah. Or I almost rather you have nothing. And I've listened to they're doing the Road to Destruction right now,
Mhm.
and Charlton's been doing the play by play, and you have a wrestler join them. Um, I almost think that's better than like the majority of the people you could bring over.
Yeah. James Kincaid is the play by play commentator for West Coast Pro. I think he's pretty good, but looking at his Instagram, he also does it looks like commentary or work or something for the Warriors out in
Yeah, not
California.
happening.
So that's that's not happening, I think.
Not
Um
happening.
Yeah, no, it's a tough spot. I don't really know what they would do as a replacement. I don't know. Bring back Josh Barnett. Bring back Jim Ross. His contract's coming up.
I could see them.
Send Jim Ross to Japan constantly. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Oh yeah, I don't. I just don't think there's going to be a perfect solution for them. I think they know that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I agree, and I think it's a lot of things that they're figuring out, and I think that's something that they're probably actively figuring out.
If they do the remote aspect, then Riccaboni's in play
Sure, sure,
because he doesn't have to leave his home. You know.
and he's not busy with a billion things that it feels like he
Yeah,
does.
I'm pretty sure he has like a full time normal job.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's
Um,
on like the board of education or something for like
yeah,
his.
he's got a lot like non wrestling things. It's why he does Ring of Honor,
Yeah.
and it's because he can do Ring of Honor remotely.
Hmm.
So maybe that's of interest to New Japan because he already does the strong tapings for them.
Yeah.
And I would love Riccaboni calling. I'm not like um, even if it was just the big shows,
Hmm.
I think he would add a great feel to that. Um, do Caprice, bring in Caprice. I know he's a more of a color guy, but I love Caprice. I think he's great.
Can we name any other play-by-play
No,
wrestling
there's no
commentators?
other play-by-play people that I want to listen to doing New Japan. I think that's why I will not name anyone else.
I'll say. What about who we can pick? We can pick
No one.
Kevin Gill. Do you want Kevin Gill in there?
No, I will stop. I will listen to. I will go. Listen, I already listened to like the Japanese half the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would go full time if depending on who they bring over. I will go full time, anyways. But that would be yeah,
Is there any way we can bring back soon to be TNA Hall of Famer Mike Tenay?
that would be a wild choice.
It would be a great choice. It would be a fantastic choice.
Yeah.
It would just who knows if it will happen. Um, all right, let's move on and talk about the next topic as well, which was Gunther breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record of being, of course, the now longest Intercontinental Championship in history. Um, with a really good match between him and Chad Gable this past Monday. You know, this whole plan of WWE wanting to modernize their record holders and no longer have like the top record holders of all time be the Honky Tonk Man, or at this rate with Roman Reigns, Bruno Sammartino. Um, this whole effort to modernize the stuff, I didn't quite think ever in my lifetime that we would ever get to these moments of extremely long reigns for WWE. But I'm glad that it's Gunther. I'm glad that it's Walter. I've always enjoyed Walter on the indies, and he came to NXT and he was pretty much himself. And he came up to the main roster, and as soon as Vince left and he came back, Triple H came in, he was able to realize himself, his usual Gunther self, again, and now he's the longest reigning IC title holder. And I think that is, it's an accolade. I will say, in an era of WWE for a long time, these titles didn't really mean much. But I think now having the longest ever title reign for the IC title ever, I think that is quite the testament to how WWE view this guy. So good on him for being the longest reigning title holder.
He was already the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The record just confirms that all the more. One, I think it's a joke that the Honky Tonk Man had the records on it. Besides the point, I think like that's maybe the bigger conversation here, that they were like, yeah, you know what? We've broken every single record, but we're gonna keep the Honky Tonk Man. Like the Honky Tonk, and to me, it's like the Honky Tonk Man didn't hold the belt long enough for it not to be broken, right? It's not like Bruno Sammartino that they dangerously are getting closer and closer to trying to tempt with, which I can't do it. But like that Sammartino to me will never be broken because that's just like that was a different time. Honky Tonk Man, his is just sitting there. It's just been sitting there to get taken over. But like, I think Gunther had like the belt for like 260 days and had the longest reign of like the modern era. That's the thing, right? It's like the Intercontinental title wasn't held for a long time by pretty much anyone of the past decade. So that's the big deal here. But what he has done is the unthinkable, and that is essentially not change at all in a WWE world where oftentimes you have to dramatically change. You know, his style is still awesome. He's the best wrestler in this company, and I think it's comfortably. Like, he has been phenomenal. The match with Chad Gable is probably the best TV match I've seen since I don't even know. Thing is, though, you had to watch inside the and this is the funny thing about Gunther, right? Is like you have to watch inside the picture in picture because like he's not just gonna sit there and do a headlock. Him and Gable were doing like these great exchanges. And I was like, God, I hate this company. Why is this not on a pay-per-view? The one match that I want you people to put on a pay-per-view and you don't do it. But they've created such a great force with Gunther. And I think ultimately, in the end, he should be the next world heavyweight champion. Now that he's got this accolade, he can drop the belt. I know you don't. I know some people don't like when people drop the belt immediately once they break records. But the sooner he beats Seth, the better, in my opinion. I think Raw is in a place, as you could tell by Shinsuke Nakamura, for God's sakes, getting title matches. Raw is in a place where they have so many babyface challengers that him being the world champion would really help the product. You could do him and Cody. You could do him and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. These are all sounding pretty good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Drew no. Drew McIntyre is probably turning heel. But you get my point. It's like you have a lot of much more intriguing matchups for the world title with him as a babyface. Gunther's pretty much done that as Intercontinental Champion anyways.
Yep.
But at least it'll be the top. It'll get top billing on the show from here on out. And I think that would be ideal. But he's been awesome. He's been awesome.
Yeah, no, I've greatly enjoyed the work he's been putting in. I totally agree. He is one of the top wrestlers there right now. If I had to give number 2, would probably be like Ilya Dragunov. But I also think that the point you're making of like he's never changed. Obviously they changed the name, and obviously,
yeah, sure.
At one point they wanted to make him more, I would say, German.
Don't say they. Don't say they. Just say who. Say who.
Vince wanted to make him more German. But they haven't done much. The only like massive change that has happened with him is he lost weight. Like that was like really, and he got shredded, which
he's
in a way,
the shape of his life now.
Yeah, in a way improved his performance. Going from just straight into NXT UK, doing the exact same thing he's always done, to moving over to NXT proper, I guess, kind of, not really, moving up to the main roster, and just basically doing the same thing. That guy has been doing the Imperium gimmick basically, I don't know, for like almost maybe a decade now. Like he was doing it on the indies before he got signed to NXT UK.
Yeah.
Like they just took what other situation? Name me another situation. Cody. All right. Well, Cody they took from AEW, and I meant more of like they take someone from the indies and don't change anything about them, and just rip them. I would say Matt Riddle is also kind of that choice.
No, Matt Riddle sucks.
Well,
they made him extra goofy.
That's certainly true.
He wasn't like extra goofy on the indies. He was kind of a killer on the indies.
But I guess that's fair.
I don't think there's anyone.
Yeah, who have they brought up and did
pound
not
for
change?
pound, pretty much pluck him out of the indies and say, "This is our guy."
This is an act that will work main roster.
Yeah,
Imperium just ripped it out and just put it in. They changed the Imperium up a little bit with a couple of their members and then plopped them right in.
Well, I don't think there's anyone.
Let's do the old look through the WWE roster page.
They probably did that with Austin Theory, but he sucks.
No, yeah, he is not good.
He's like
actively getting worse.
He's legitimately. I can't go that far.
No, say it.
But for a guy, you know how you always have like the the conversation like, if you were to sculpt the perfect wrestler, it'd be Randy Orton. If you were to sculpt that form of wrestler and then make him awful,
Yeah.
it would be Austin Theory. He might be the worst wrestler WWE has. Like, he doesn't offer anything. He's not charismatic. He's not talented in the ring. He's just bad.
What's
Like,
wild?
Brian Alvarez had a great rant about it. Like, listen, if you want to stop being like this boring ass, terrible wrestler, that'd be great. And it's like, to me, it's a real problem, because it's like you have a guy like LA Knight who, again, LA Knight's not all that great in the ring. He's whatever, but he's captured the audience. Austin Theory's never going to do that. I'm going to tell you that right now. Austin Theory could leave, come back, leave again, and then come back again. There's nothing saving this guy. He's dead in the water. They let him beat John Cena at WrestleMania. And listen. I know the match was whatever, but they let him beat John Cena at WrestleMania, and the guy gained nothing.
You would think that match also should be better with John Cena in it.
Well, that's true too. I mean, John Cena though was like, whatever.
I think John Cena was phoning it in, also recognizing that Austin Theory is not much of anything right now.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Cena is like Cena knows when a guy isn't it. Yeah, he probably was like, all right, guys. Like,
yeah, I get it. I'm doing it for Vince. This one's for Vince.
They gave him like this long U.S. title reign just for him to lose to Rey Mysterio. Because they're like, all right, we're done. We're done here. we're good. He stinks. They've paired him with Grayson Waller because Grayson Waller is essentially the same guy, just a little more charismatic. I mean, you know what Austin Theory is in the realm of? They want him to be in the realm of Randy Orton, John Cena. Yeah. He is Miz without the charisma. Do you know what Miz without the charisma is? Arguably the worst wrestler in the world. That is a bad wrestler.
You know what's sad about it too is that like he was, and maybe it was just because of the different levels of talent.
He was good in Evolve.
Yeah, he was pretty good in Evolve, and even in NXT, like he wasn't awful.
No, it's crazy to me because I remember watching him in Evolve. I've seen him live before. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a main event star in WWE. Like, can't miss.
Yeah. And again,
my God, I wish they missed.
Maybe it's the different ponds this fish is jumping into, but like you get to the main roster, it's like, whoa, this guy is not good. This guy has got nothing. It's just like from the indies, and it's like, man, this guy's gonna be the next everything. And
I've seen him have good matches, like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, in NXT
when he was like
good matches.
22.
Yeah, he's gotten like, older and gotten worse.
You know what he is? He is like he's terrible, but I'm trying to put this together right. Like, he's what would have happened if he's to me what Jay White was on Excursion.
All right. Okay.
And when I say by that, like, I don't know if you remember, like, Jay White on Excursion, Ring of Honor, he had like, black trunks, vanilla look, long hair. And it was like, whatever, right? And then Jay White came back and he was like this just full package. Not immediately though, right? No. It took a little time.
But they definitely saw a lot in him and gave him a push immediately.
Austin Theory has done the reverse, right? Like, he looked like the Jay White that came back at first. He's like, okay, we see something in this for sure.
Yeah. And
then he became the Excursion guy in the second part of his career. Yeah. This vanilla white meat heel. You can't be a white meat heel. It's white meat babyface, you nerd.
Do you think like John Cena had that match with Vince and then went back to the curtain and said, "This guy ain't it. This guy ain't it, Vince"? Because ever since then, it feels like
that wouldn't be the first time Cena's done that.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate. That's definitely accurate. I can't wait for the shoot interviews in a couple years.
What? Why? He's gonna still be there.
Well, the merger's coming up. I think going back to the conversation about Gunther, I think the only other talent I could think of note recently that they sort of, I'll say, plucked, quote unquote, from the indies, would be in a way kind of LA Knight. Obviously, he was doing the thing for a very long time, Impact, and he left Impact and was on the Indies.
But
for
they did
WWE.
change him at one point.
Yes, they did
They
change
made
him
him
at
a
one
manager.
point. They made him a manager, and they did change him at one point. But they brought him back to just what he did before that worked, and it's been
that's
exploding for him.
That's very true. That is very true.
But
I don't think
you're right.
there's anyone else,
They
right?
did make an attempt at changing him. It just didn't work. That's the only other person I can think of. And maybe you can say AJ Styles or whatever. But at that point, he was kind of locked in.
AJ Styles is washed. Been washed.
He's been washed. Been washed for a little bit.
I always see like the questions of like who would you rank? I saw this week. It's like rank these 4, and it's like Omega, Danielson, Punk, and Styles. And I was like, Styles is dead last.
Yeah,
10 times out of 10. I was like, Styles never clicked with me like the other 3 have in any way, shape, or form. And I know Punk is obviously the enemy number 1 these days, but it's like I'm still not changing that.
So this is where I'm at. I'm at Styles 4, Danielson 1.
I think that's agreeable.
And then I think it's a toss up between 2 and 3 of Omega and Punk, depending. This is what I'm at right now in my brain. Do I like Punk's? I think Punk is a better promo than wrestler currently, and I think in general, I think we can all say that he's a better promo because he's fantastic on the mic.
Yeah.
Whereas Kenny is also a better wrestler than he is promo.
Oh yeah.
So is Kenny's wrestling better than Punk's promo and vice versa? And their weakness is better than vice versa. That's where I'm at. Is Kenny a better wrestler? Is Kenny a better wrestler than CM Punk is a promo?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Kenny's really great. He's pretty great.
I think Kenny's
that was the discussion topic I wanted to write down. That's what I wanted to talk about. That was one of our discussion topics I want to talk about. It was
all right.
It was Cody Rhodes' talk this week about how he said in some sort of interview that promos are more memorable than matches, and he was basically referencing that everyone remembers Dusty Rhodes' Hard Times promo, but name me a famous.
Well, he won't let me forget it, but that's fine.
Yeah, it was like, but name me a famous Dusty Rhodes match or whatever. I don't think he didn't say it like that flippantly, but that sort of idea is that he is more memorable for his promos and whatnot.
Sure.
And I thought about that. I was like, but I don't necessarily think that's true. Number one, it's coming from Cody.
There's a real debate for that, I think.
That was the discussion topic I wanted to have, and we're gonna have it right now because we've kind of leaned into it.
Shout out to how did we get here?
How do we get
Austin Theory?
Gunther?
Gunther. Oh, by the way, I want to take back the Jay White comparison because people might hear that. I was talking about if you look at white meat babyface Jay White in Ring of Honor and you don't tell me that was pretty much Austin Theory, except he was arguably better, then you're wrong. Anyways, go ahead.
Number one, Cody's point. I think there is some validity to what he's saying, especially in the WWE system, that how promos and moments are sometimes bigger than matches. But that's because that's what works in WWE. That is what works for them. But at the same time, I don't think that applies to every single wrestler of all time. We just talked about it. Kenny Omega, not dog shit on the microphone, but not great on the microphone, I would think. He's passable, he's fine, he can do his stuff, he's good, I guess, in that sense. But he's an all-time great wrestler, and I can name a bunch of all-time great Kenny Omega matches that I remember, and I put above any other of his promo stuff. That I think have so much value and make him such a great wrestler because of that. Danielson has good promos, but he also has a fantastic matches that we can name. And I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes is wrong. I think it definitely applies for WWE. I think it definitely applies to someone that has been previously named the 3-star general. I think that...
Hey.
Whoa, hey now. I just think that it can be true, but I think it depends wrestler to wrestler. Is what works for the wrestler. If they're better at promos, then make sure they're killing it on promos, and that's what the most memorable thing about them. To the whole idea of hiding weaknesses and showcasing strengths. That's the whole idea that we're doing. Kenny Omega's not the best promo, so we'll put Don Callis with him and have him do great matches. Stuff like that.
Okay. My take on this is I don't think he's completely wrong.
Hmm.
I think it's more error based.
Ooh, okay.
So I think that was very true pretty much up until the 2010s. Like I think promos definitely were king.
And we're talking US
And
US wrestling.
yeah, obviously,
Yeah,
Japan was always in
Japan's its
ring
own
based.
beast. It's its own beast.
Yeah, but what he means is mainstream wrestling, and I think it was the truth for a very long time. You Dusty, Flair, uh, Austin, Rock. The list goes on and
I'll
on.
say funk.
Funk, yeah, like and Funk had he was a great wrestler, and Flair was a great wrestler, blah blah blah. But I think Cody's definitely right. They are still remembered more. Truthfully, like Ric Flair's, despite the many great matches, he's still remembered more for his promos.
That might be
Those
fair.
are always repeated. But as time has gone on, I think we've seen people just focus more on the wrestling as is,
Hmm.
and that's what has established a lot of them because promos, like there's very few memorable promos
Hmm.
of the past decade. Like there is a handful compared to and honestly, if you think back, there was a handful back then too. We only repeat so many. It's like we don't go back and talk about, Stone Cold and Steve Austin's like random Monday Night Raw in the middle of September with The Rock.
Yeah,
We there's necessary points.
I
And a lot
think
of it,
the most memorable promo in the past decade is probably the CM Punk pipe bomb.
that was over a decade ago now. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. And there's also moments that are more memorable, right? Like Punk returning,
Hmm.
that's more memorable than a wrestling match or even the promo that he cut. It's just him showing up. Like
Yeah, and that was a
wrestling,
good promo, but like
yeah, it
also like,
was.
and maybe it's bad memory or whatnot, but the only to me, I think the part of that promo that's permeated the most is on this date I left professional wrestling.
Yeah,
On this date I've returned. Like that's like the
yeah,
most memorable part of that promo.
yeah. That's still probably like the most memorable the past few years. Yeah, like that I think ultimately is like the conversation. Like I think Cody's not wrong
Sure.
necessarily, but I think it's wrong now. Like this era isn't that
Hmm.
at all.
Hmm.
You see that with AEW. Like what's the best promo that's ever been cut at AEW?
I was just thinking about that. I was just sitting here being like, what is the best promo in AEW history? Is it the Cody Rhodes he solved racism promo? Is it the uh
I don't even know.
there is that promo.
Eddie has a few, I guess.
Eddie has a few.
Moxley
I like the
Moxley's promo where he says, "Was that not how it's supposed to go?" That's my favorite.
uh I like the Cody Rhodes Jericho promo on the build up to their
That's
match.
really good.
The Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes talking about I'm not going to challenge anymore, and I think that was good. I
The
think
most memorable line is Cody from undesirable to undeniable.
yeah.
That one reigns in my head still.
MJF Punk. I think the MJF uh but I think there's a moment following that. The MJF Punk promo where MJF talks about like he was
Oh yeah.
crying and talking about like his
Yeah.
history of Punk and everything.
Yeah.
But even then, like I think like a more memorable moment of that to me is then after that where he gets the chain and he bloodies him up at Daly's
Yeah.
place. And then after that, there's a more memorable match, and that was the dog collar match they end up having.
Yeah. But
That feud was great.
well, that's the thing. It's like Punk and MJF was such like a perfectly done feud.
Yeah,
So it's like all those moments are memorable, but it's not one collective
yeah,
for them, And I think it's just a base to base thing. Like I think what Cody is saying
hmm
is that long term promos will be remembered more,
sure, sure.
but we're in an era where that has changed, where matches will be remembered.
Yeah, I would like to think so. I think obviously we can have this discussion 10 years from now and think about like, is that still true? Um,
Like Kenny and Omega, Kenny and Omega, same guy. That'd be a sick match. Kenny and Okada will be talked about more than any promo has happened over the past decade.
and I don't remember any single promo that they may have cut on each other at any point during that
No.
entire story. All we remember are the matches.
Yep.
I mean, you can go even further back. Flair Steamboat. I don't remember a single promo that could have happened with that feud at all, but everyone remembers the matches.
Sure. Yeah, I guess it's kind of based like what ultimately it's like pick an era, what's remembered the most.
I think it's this might be the podcaster who doesn't know anything about wrestling conversation, but I think what also is helpful about promos being more memorable is that I think it is I feel like it if I was a wrestler, it would be harder to have a 5-star match, especially nowadays. Or a 6-star, 7-star, or whatever. It's harder to have a extremely memorable match that it might be easier to cut a great promo or a better promo or whatever that might be memorable or have a memorable moment than it is to have a fantastic all-time classic match. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Again, I
Yeah.
don't I've never wrestled, I've never taken a bump, I've never done all that stuff. We all get it. I'm throwing it out the window. I just feel like, you know, there it is hard, especially nowadays. It's incredibly difficult. Danielson Starks, I think, is going to be a classic match. But that's probably there's also other great matches on that card, and I think the most memorable match from that is the Starks Danielson one. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like next year we're going to talk about that match, and you and I are going to might forget that. Oh yeah, Moxley Orange Cassidy was the main event of that, and that was also a great
Right.
match.
Right.
It's incredibly hard
Yeah.
to have like an all-time classic match here nowadays, where I think it may because it's
I would say that,
I
but
think there are
those
less.
happen more
I think I'm just saying
now.
that like I think there are like less all-time classic matches compared to how many promos can be cut. And I think it's like the hit rate. There's a higher hit
Yeah.
rate in promos, so it's easier to have a more memorable promo than there is to have an easier time doing an all-time classic match. That's a very specific, like, nuance take, I guess.
I would agree, but there's no promo that's been that we just went over. So
That's
like,
true.
is it easier?
That's fair.
Like
That's
like I
fair.
think we see an all-time classic at least once a year.
Mm-hmm.
At least. At
That's
least
yeah,
I think we see a handful.
especially in
Uh
AEW. Yeah.
like I think it just depends. Like AEW, they're more likely to put on all-time classic than cut a all-time promo.
And that's also why, like, I think from the WWE perspective of like going not just from era to era, but from company to company, I think like Cody's right. And like, if you're looking at WWE, it's extremely hard to have an all-time classic because it feels like they don't believe in any of the wrestlers to achieve that.
Mhm.
It feels like they don't believe that any of the wrestlers currently can have an
Yeah.
all-time classic. I mean,
Yeah.
name me an all-time classic in WWE in the past 10 years. Punk
Well,
Cena,
all-time classics like very, 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 very specific. Like that was like Starks Danielson
or
level. That's like the highest level we can go because like all-time classic, like you only get those. Like
what's the best?
all-time classic,
Let me look up. What's the best match in
it's
WWE?
Gunther and Dragunov.
Yeah, it might be true that that no one ended up watching because it was NXT UK. Um,
I like the second one better. So
let's see. Match guide. I'm looking at Cage Match now. I'm gonna look
that's
at
the highest rated WWE match I have since when it happened. That's the high. Nothing's topped that for me in a while.
that isn't NXT. I'll say that. I think it's got to be main roster. Because the first three are Dragon of Walter, Andrade Gargano, Dragon of Walter.
Yeah. So
And then it's Bret Hart, Steve Austin from '97,
sure,
and then it's Punk Cena from 2011.
sure.
Uh, Shawn Michaels Undertaker from '09. Skipping some NXTs. Let's get something new. Shawn
There
Michaels
isn't
Undertaker
anything
of
new.
2010. Keep going.
WWE now, in times of all-timer moments, they're likely to get that from like all-timer moments. They're more likely to get moments than matches than promos. All-timer moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Cody
mean,
Cody wrestling with the Peck. Like that's going to
yes.
be remembered forever.
Agreed. And even then,
But
like
it's not.
I think Punk
Like the match is really good, but it's not anything to be like, oh, that was an all-time classic.
I think Punk and Cena is a great match, but I think it makes the match better with the moment that's even better
Right.
following
Exactly.
it.
It's like moments for them are and I think that's the best part about WWE though, is that they do make moments. That's why WWE works. And I think Cody, had he said moments were better than matches or promos, he probably would have been even more right.
Sure.
You know, because like these moments make the most memorable things. A promo is a moment.
Yeah.
Like an all-timer promo is a moment.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
You know?
It supersedes promo level and goes into moment level.
Right. An all-timer moment for WWE is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens winning in the main event of WrestleMania. That's a great moment. There's a lot of great moments. But again, it's not like they have great matches, but they don't have all-timer matches.
Bringing it back to the start of this conversation, the most recent, highest rated main roster WWE match in the past decade from this year's WrestleMania. This is according to Cage Match. Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. That is the 20th highest rated match for WWE on Cage Match. After a bunch of NXT old matches, all this other stuff. That is the most recent main roster WWE match.
It was really good. Really good. Yeah, but it's moments, right? At the end of the day, it's always moments for WWE, and I think they do better at making moments than anyone. But there's other places you can go to get all-time matches. There's better places you can go to do that. Honestly, I think AEW does a great job at making moments as well. Maybe not this year as much, unfortunately. I'm not being mean, but like I think that's like maybe part of the mix that they were missing.
Yeah,
is memorable moments to go with the memorable matches. Because in terms of in-ring, AEW has been phenomenal this year. No matter what happens with all the Punk stuff and you know the sports entertainmentisms that they've added, they still have countless amazing matches. But maybe the sports entertainment ism that they should be looking for is making more moments.
Yeah, still have great matches, but you need more great moments.
Because you made a great point. I'm not going to remember Moxley and Orange Cassidy. I'm not.
Great match.
Like I know I'm not. It was a great match.
But if you told me to name one match from that card in 5 years, I'll probably say Danielson Starks.
Like Danielson Starks, their moment of beating each other with the strap, that's not leaving my brain.
And I'll
or the choke moment at the end.
To me, the moment of that match, Starks on the top rope, Danielson gets the strap, leans back and hits him and wallops his back. That's the moment. That was the moment the match changed and it was like, all right, like bumping up a couple gears, like here we go, strap in.
I guess another moment in that is the sight of Ricky passing out.
Yeah.
Like that's something you will remember. And I think that's, I'm not saying AEW doesn't have moments.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
This is a very nuanced conversation that we're
That's more of like this year, what's the best moments in AEW?
The Danielson Starks bit that I just talked about. Let's see. You know what I'll say as I'm thinking about moments? You know what the first thing I thought of was there any moments on All in London? And I was like, no, I can't really.
Like that show is more of an accomplishment than Like I walked away from All Out saying All Out was better.
It was historic moment ticket sales wise, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I'll remember it for setting the record.
We didn't see the moment of the show because it was backstage before it started.
Yeah, the biggest moment in AEW history is Brawl Out, baby. That's what that is.
And this shit.
Yeah.
I think Eddie's had moments. Eddie's had a lot of moments.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about specific things that stuck in my brain in AEW.
Oh, you're still trying to remember from this year?
You know, going back to like the Cody's conversations. Also, it's like I think one of the biggest moments in AEW history is Cody versus Dustin. I think that is that
the greatest AEW matches of all time.
And the moment of Dustin trying to take off his boots, Cody saying "Don't do it," and then them hugging. That's a moment. That is they got something right there. That was a moment in time where I was like, they AEW something.
Yeah,
AEW is going to be something.
That was that moment for myself as well when watching.
Yeah,
Moxley's debut. You know, Moxley's debut partnered with that was like, okay,
yes,
they are serious. You know,
yes.
But I think I could try to sit here and name moments from this year.
I'd say the Cody moment. Cody. I think maybe that's the difference between Cody and the rest of the AEW roster is that he was always out there trying to create moments. You want another moment that regarded
He's
Cody
a
Rhodes?
WWE wrestler. That's why.
That's true. Cody Brody Lee with the title change. Less of a match, more of a moment in time where it was like, holy shit, Brody Lee is beating the crap out of this guy and just destroying him and then breaks the title or whatever. God, it's so good.
Yeah.
That was all good.
That's a good call.
We'll think of more stuff. If you have any more if you have any more moments, folks, tweet at us.
I don't know if there's I'll give you maybe the top moment of this year. Or one of the top moments. I won't say it's the top moment, but in terms of AEW connection, Ospreay's promo from Wrestle Kingdom, like that's one that jumps out to me, but that's not even AEW. So, you know, it's like I don't know what the AEW moments are this year, and maybe that's a problem.
And maybe that's a problem of why their ticket sales are down, or why they're sort of soft U.S. business-wise.
Great matches can only bring you so far.
I think that's true. I think great matches can get you a long way. I think it's moments that will entice people to come back. I don't think promos necessarily entice people to come back. I think it's more
promos can be moments,
as we explained. Yeah, I think it's not necessarily promos. It is that if promos can become moments, or these things can have lasting impact, where it's like, oh, a moment, right? Here's a moment,
right?
Revolution, the post match of Revolution. Of that sort of that, and I'll couplet that with the moment of.
I'll give you a moment.
Let me finish my thought real quick. The moment of Hangman Adam Page in the Dark Order entrance for that tag team match with the Elite.
That's a moment.
That entrance, I still can watch that match. Still watch that entrance alone. Do I remember anything about the match? No. What I do remember is that entrance, even the Elite, which I think was fun, but that entrance to the Dark Order, I'll watch that and I will still get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because that was the moment where everyone was like, this guy is the main character. This is the promotion for him. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think that's it's one of their top moments, and it's just from a random Dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was just a random Dynamite, wasn't it? Oh,
sure was.
Did you had an element, or do you want to move on?
Yeah, I just was thinking of a few from this year. Punk and Joe stepping in the ring first time on Punk's return. That was a moment. You know, like the crowd lost their shit. Sold out United Center, or not sold out, but pretty packed United Center. It's a lot of it's recent. I can't remember the first half of the year in this company.
No.
Can't. Like, outside of I got one, and then we can move on.
Okay.
Hangman choking out Moxley.
Yeah.
to win that match.
The
That was that a
Revolution.
lot of the moments are actually Hangman. Like if you think back into AEW history, most of the moments are Hangman, which may be part of the reason this year has been so tough is because the man's been on ice essentially since the Moxley feud.
Are we also saying that of anyone in the Elite, Hangman Adam Page would be the best person on the WWE roster? This guy knows how to make moments.
Will it be Cody?
Well, sure, sure. Of the current Elite, I guess.
Yeah. It would be Hangman.
All right, let's move on and talk about another moment in time, and that was, of course, Impact Wrestling Victory Road.
Well, I'm happy we had a good debate because this I don't think we could possibly debate this.
Impact Wrestling Victory Road took place White Plains, New York, this past Friday. I think an all around, I don't know, middle of the road pay per view for Impact. They're on the road, Victory Road.
Middle of the road instead of Victory Road. That's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. They are basically on the way till Bound for Glory, so it's like this is one of their Impact Plus events. So it's like not as huge. It's a B pay per view, if you want to say
Their last one
for them. Yeah, they'll have Bound for Glory is like next month on October 21st. So that's really what they're prepping for. So they don't want to really burn off any of their big time matches here, which I don't blame them. But I think we still got some fun matches. I still think we got some interesting matches to talk about here. None from the Countdown to Victory Road and the pre-show, but the main card I think is worth talking about. Maybe. Do we want to go? Let's go match by match. We're killing.
You're gonna
time.
get a lot of didn't watch it, but
that's fine. That's fine. We'll go match by match. We'll start off with the first match here, which is the Impact X Division title match between Lio Rush defending his title successfully against Kushida. And I'll ask you, Scotty, number one question. Is Kushida finally back?
I don't know. Kinda. Like I don't know if like
I'll take a kinda.
Like this match was really solid, really strong. Him and Leo were really good in there. But like I'm still waiting for like a signature Kushida match. Like I'm gonna forget this one in like 3 days.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match.
It was. It was second best match on the show, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But still waiting to see. This is more exciting for Kushida, but he's at this point, like we know what he is. He's staying in the US. He's just he'll drop in New Japan from time to time. Probably do the Super Juniors. He'll do the 2 junior tournaments and he will do Impact. And that's it. I think he did MLW too recently.
They did just announce
Tony Deppen.
They did just announce an MLW New Japan partnership. He wrestled
like
Tony
that's
Deppen.
His thing. It's like just send him to places. He leads the LA dojo now.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But this was good.
I will also say this, like, and not just by the fact that they basically did the exact same spot later in the show, but I thought that Lio Rush, if Lio Rush wanted to change something about his aesthetic or change something, he has such like he's bringing such like little stinker energy to this match that I thought that if they wanted to, screw Wesley over in NXT, if they wanted to bring in someone and add someone to the Rascals, Lio Rush I think would be a perfect fit for them if they wanted to.
Lio Rush.
If they wanted to make that a trio again.
I think Lio Rush is like he is one of the best. That's not like a big hot take. But I think he has really found his footing.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
In everywhere he is. Like it feels like he's part of the wrestling landscape. He doesn't feel unattached. He feels completely locked in. Very much in control of who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He knows who he is now. I think for a long time we were waiting to see who Lio Rush was as a character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I like this. I like this role that he's in, and then of course I like what he's doing in New Japan. His stuff in New Japan is phenomenal. So
yeah, I'm loving Lio Rush.
Which I guess this is technically the same.
in a way.
Like,
In a
I
way.
guess I guess that's the one thing I do like about Impact these days. Is like you just kind of like keep the New Japan aspect. You know, they don't really switch it up.
Yeah,
Um, so that's always good.
that's true. That's definitely true. But next match, Impact Knockouts Tag Team Title match. MK Ultra, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich defeated the team of Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans to successfully retain their titles.
Your favorite wrestler was in this match.
Yeah, Masha Slamovich was in this match.
You're a big Killer Kelly guy.
You know,
Huge Killer Kelly guy.
I think Killer Kelly was serviceable in this match. I think she did a good job with what she is. Not the usual fare from I typically see from Killer Kelly. In that sense, I'll give her the compliment and say she did a good job, or at least she was well hidden or something. I think she did. Of what I saw, I think it was fine. I thought this match was like a 3-star. Like, this was good. I thought Masha Slamovich
That's
and
higher than most knockout tags.
that's true. I thought Giselle Shaw was really nice in this match. I thought Masha was nice in this match. I think Masha and Killer Kelly have developed better double team maneuvers, which helped as well. And then I don't remember literally anything about Savannah Evans in this match one bit.
That's tough.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
That's tough. I think Masha Slamovich wrestles circles around most of this division. So,
I mean, I can agree with that as well. Crazy Steve defeats Black Tauros. He's back.
I don't even think I saw this. I know I didn't see this, but I didn't even know this happened.
No. The decay is exploding.
I don't even know how I skipped this. Like, I didn't even know it happened.
I will tell you this. Honestly, Scotty, I greatly enjoyed this match. I thought this match ruled. I think it was just a completely simple story of, like, the tag team explodes or whatever. And I love me some Taurus.
Match was a 5.47 on Cage Match.
Yeah, I went. What did I win? I think I went like 3 1/4. Like, not obviously it's not we're not talking Danielson Starks here, but I had fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very simple story that was told very well. Of just like people destroying each other.
Danielson Starks, he says.
there was a moment where, and you might have seen this GIF online somewhere because that sort of made the rounds. There was a moment where
I literally didn't know this match happened until you just said it. So no, I didn't.
It was a moment where Crazy Steve runs the ropes. Taurus picks him up to sort of do the like Samoan drop gimmick.
Ooh.
And I don't know if it was on purpose or an accident, but Crazy Steve in a way overturned it almost into like a crucifix bomb.
Ooh.
But Taurus over rotated slightly, and it almost became like a crucifix DDT, where Taurus got landed like directly on his head. It was
really good.
It looked awesome. Whether or not it was on purpose,
really
it looked
good.
great. What's that?
Black Taurus.
I love Black Taurus, man.
I wish he was like, I don't know. Him and for like 3 years now, him and Laredo Kid have just done nothing.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're kind of an Impact, kind of in AAA, but we're really in neither. And I think Lucha Blog literally has a running joke about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of my favorites because they're excellent, and especially Taurus. The best base in Lucha.
Yeah, his last Impact Wrestling match was July 29th. When he losing effort to Bully Ray in a no DQ match.
Oh, brother.
And then he showed up here in September to lose to Crazy Steve.
Of course he did.
Yeah, so not that great, I guess, for him. He's been doing other stuff, but it looks like he hasn't wrestled since August 24th. And for Hog Demand Lucha in Canada, and then he wrestled here. So it's been a little bit, but then he's finally back. Yeah, I love Black Taurus. He's 36. Like, it sucks that like this is where he's at in his career. I think he should be higher. This guy, if this guy was around when Lucha Underground was around, he would be a star today. Big time star today.
I'm sure he was around.
Let's see. Let's check. I guess he would have been around technically.
He was around,
but he just never was used. Never was used. If he was used in Lucha Underground, I think he would have been perfectly utilized in that promotion. I'm so honestly shocked that they never used Black Taurus in Lucha Underground. But yeah, I think that would have been a great addition to that, and I think it would have made him a huge star now. Get him on the Dynamite, get him onto something else. Like put him against, I don't know, who would be a good person for Black Taurus to wrestle? Do like Gravity versus him, and then give Gravity a win.
No! Stop putting Gravity on my screen.
Fine, just do Bandito. Bandito versus Black Taurus.
Yes, put the good one on. I know Bandito's hurt though.
Or no. Here's a proper one. Do Commander versus Black Taurus. So Commander can fly around the ring, and Black Taurus can be the base, and you can give Commander a win.
On my hot take,
sure.
Like Commander is overrated.
Ooh.
Listen, I know a lot of people do all the same spots in their matches, but I feel like for like a solid 5 months there, I watched Commander wrestle the same match.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
He's had a few good ones recently, though.
I wouldn't say he's overrated. I would say he's overhyped. I think that might be.
That's close. That's more of probably what I meant. But you know what? I said what I said. So
but just do like Commander versus Black Taurus on Rampage. That's all I'm asking for.
Give me.
We just watched Collision last night. Do it on Collision, the Lucha show. Yeah. Do it on the Lucha show of Collision.
As I like to say, when in doubt, give me Mystico.
Yeah, well, obviously, give me.
I can watch Mystico wrestle. Yeah, I say that about Commander. I can watch Mystico wrestle the same match 27 times, and I'll love it every single time.
Look, another discussion topic I wrote down earlier this morning. And
why is Mystico the greatest of all time?
No. It's about Bryan Danielson's last year. If this is his last year, who's his last opponent?
That'll be a good discussion.
I don't think Mystico is his last opponent, but goddamn, do the match. If you could find a way to do the match,
god damn it, do the match,
or at least do like Blue Demon Jr. or something. You know CMLL is never gonna happen.
Blue Demon Jr.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that's someone that Bryan Danielson specifically has wanted to wrestle.
He wants to wrestle Metalik too, who's right there in the same company. He was in the same building yesterday, and they haven't wrestled. I think he's a liar.
He can wrestle Metalik on his path to face Blue Demon Jr. at Full Gear or whatever, wherever the fuck. All right, Impact Digital Media title match versus Career. I know for a fact you didn't watch this. Tommy Dreamer defeats Kenny King. He's Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer defeated Kenny King?
Kenny King.
And is a champion?
Tommy Dreamer, at 52 years old, formerly canceled, is your new Impact Digital Media title holder.
Formerly so people have this match higher rated than Crazy Steve.
That's insane to me. This match lasted forever, Scott.
12 minutes and 14 seconds.
It felt like 20. It was so boring. It was so
third
long.
Longest match on the show.
And it was a whole match was meant to be a funk tribute because Tommy Dreamer comes out with like funk pants, you know.
He's funking.
He's funking all over the place. The Funk Cafe t-shirt and all that stuff. Just the match was so boring, and it's just like, god damn it, why are we doing this of Kenny King? Why are we giving a title? Why are we giving a belt to Tommy Dreamer of all people? What are we
doing?
We
move on.
What are we doing? This match sucked. This match sucked. I went 2.5.
Could have told you that one, man. See, that's an average, got it done match.
It was bang average. There was the emotional moments of it. I'll give it that or whatever. But like, it just no. I don't care.
You didn't like it.
Didn't like it. The match I did like. Jordan Grace defeats Deonna Purrazzo. Of course, this is Jordan Grace returning, following having a contract come up, re-signing, yada yada yada. She's been gone since May, since losing. Losing the Knockouts World Title, I guess. I've
challenge. Had a take locked in since this match happened.
Yeah, I have also had a take. I think you and I both tweeted pretty much the exact same thing on Twitter. So here, I'll let you have the floor. Give me your thoughts on Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo.
This match, this is all fans are looking for from the AEW Women's Division. This is it.
Mhm.
This was 11 minutes and 48 seconds. It wasn't even that long.
Yeah.
You know, this is just the quality and the passion and the excitement you are looking for in any women's division. Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo are the rivalry
Yeah.
in the US for women's wrestling right now.
Yes.
They've had 3 matches this year, I think. They would all comfortably be in the top 15, I think, of best women matches in the US. Truthfully. Like, I don't have a full list. Maybe top 20 is more reasonable. But nonetheless, they somehow managed to keep it different despite me watching them 3 different times. I think it's been 3 times this year. Maybe it's 2, 3 times in the past overall year.
They definitely
Either way,
They definitely wrestled last May in a title match, and I'm looking up on Cage Match all of their title matches or all their matches together. Go ahead.
either way, my point is this. This is what you are looking for when when we hear people talk about the women's division in AEW, even WWE. WWE can't always get off, free here. They mess up too, you know? This is all I'm looking for. They had 2 matches like this. Deanna's so good. And I think she's probably out of Impact end of the year. I thought Jordan probably should have tried somewhere new, but I understand her. She does a lot of outside things, right? She does bodybuilding. She does the Patreon or whatever. I have no idea what she does. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just know she does
OnlyFans?
bodybuilding. Huh? Does she do
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans?
Probably.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was Patreon for her. Whatever. I remember. No, I think it is Patreon for her because I think she's like the top. She's like it's like that. Her and Fight will select like top wrestling personalities, paid subscriptions or something. I don't know. Anyways, my point is that this is what you should be doing. This isn't the minimum. It's just this should be the expectation.
Well,
You put 2 of your best in there time and time again, and they go out there and deliver. You can create a rivalry by just having matches. They don't have like this heated, they've had stories in the past, but this was Jordan's back. Let's put her against her best opponent. This is how she gets right back into it. This was really good. I thought it was the best match of the show. I just really liked what they do with this. Like, they are so consistent. They are pretty much the precedent for US women's like rivalries right now.
yes, that was one of my take. Is that they are the best U.S. women's wrestling rivalry today, and not just today, but for the past several years, because this rivalry has been going on for the past several years.
Yeah.
They are. They have
Jordan's gotten a lot better.
Jordan's gotten a lot better. They have fantastic chemistry. They have wrestled in singles matches, Scotty, 8 times. In Impact was 5 of those. They wrestled in the Indies thrice.
And they've gotten better and better.
Then they have the first match, in Deanna's third match in Impact in 2020, middle of the pandemic, Slammiversary, where Deanna wins the title off of Jordan Grace. Then a month later, they had a 30-minute Iron Woman match in August for the title, and Deanna wins that as well. Then they have a vacant knockout women's title match at Rebellion 2023. 3 years later, they have a match between each other where Deanna wins again. Catching a theme here. Then they have Under Siege a month after that where Deanna beats Jordan Grace again.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Grace leaves the company, comes back, and who does Jordan Grace beat? Deonna Purrazzo. They've wrestled 5 times, and not only have they been putting on great matches in all 5 of those bouts, but Jordan Grace gets her first win over Deonna Purrazzo. They even talk about that on commentary. Deanna's beaten her every single time they've wrestled each other. Every single time.
They're really good.
They're really good. They're great.
If Deanna's a free agent at the end of the year, everyone should be going for her.
Oh, yeah.
She's just such a strong worker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if she does any one thing perfect. She just does a lot of things really well.
Yeah.
And in the US, that really makes you stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she deserves whatever contract she gets next, whether that means stay with Impact, go to AEW, go to WWE. She deserves it because she has really made herself a prominent wrestler in the US since leaving WWE.
Yeah. I mean,
She is the one you put with anyone. And I think she's gonna get the best out of them. Maybe the match isn't always gonna be good, but she's gonna get the best out of them. I saw it with Naomi.
mm-hmm.
What's her name? Trinity?
Trinity. Yeah, and I think that's true. And look, in some ways, I don't want her to leave because I want to see more Jordan
No,
Grace
I don't
matches. You know, with her like that, they are the best. They have the best chemistry of
They
any
do.
women's like any women's division. They have the best chemistry. It is phenomenal. If you're not watching their stuff, it's great. All time rivalry right now. What else was on this gosh dang show? I closed out of cage match. I don't know why did I do that.
PCO versus Bully Ray.
Bully Ray, anything goes match. So let me just read off real quickly the messages I sent you in Slack. I think that'll be the
this is you will not say anything else after that. That
really
is it.
really the review.
This is our review of the match.
So at 5:05 p.m. I messaged you. I know you won't watch the Bully match, but it actually works really well. 3 minutes after that, 5:08 p.m. Never mind, PCO just took a cheese grater to Bully's balls.
This match is a 2.95 rating on Cage Match.
And I'll to explain that first half of the thing. So what I mean, like it works.
He used the cheese grater, and he was mad.
and that led, if I'm not mistaken, led to putting Bully through a table, which he kicked out at 3, or kicked out, kicked out of. What I meant by it worked really well was that Bully Ray is the guy that just like he's doing all this shit and constantly beating down on someone. And it's very annoying to see him do that against anyone else, but doing against another old guy, and not just another old guy, but a guy like PCO, a guy that takes the punishment and that's all this stuff. There was a point where they had like 3 tables set up or whatever, and there's just a bit where Bully Ray is just picking up PCO, throws him through a table, picks him up again, throws him through another table. And it's like shit like that was like, it actually works really well. But then the moment is like completely gone because it gets to the Bully Ray has to lose part. And it's like, all right, cheese grater to the balls. I'm going to go through a table, kick out, of course. Of course, in the rubble of a table, I'm going to kick out, and then does whatever the hell the finish was. And just it gets into the Bully Ray-isms that completely destroy the match. But the idea of just like this bully beating down PCO and PCO being like a weirdly fantastic Darby Allin-esque babyface, where it's just like he just takes all this punishment and he can be able to get back up. It works really well. It's a very good dynamic. They had good chemistry up until the moment Bully Ray was like, oh wait, I gotta lose? All right, this is what we're gonna do. Cheese grater to the balls. And just all these Bully Ray-isms that just kind of immediately go out the door. So
anyways.
Yeah, no. That's all I have to say about that match. Impact World Tag Team title match. The Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, defeated Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin successfully to retain their titles.
Good match. They're better.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. Could have been better. Basically, I like how they repeated the title attack spot for the first X Division title match. There's that first match where Leo Rush goes for the referee grabs it and says, no, you can't do it. They repeat that spot where Trey Miguel's like, all right, I'm going to hit you. And the referee's like, no, you can't do it. Grabs the belt. And then it's like, oh, it's a tag team match. Zachary Wentz has his belt and then wallops whoever it was over the face. They've had better matches between the two of them for sure. It just didn't fully click here. I don't really know why. It just didn't really fully click.
It was, here's the thing with the Motor City Machine Guns these days. Like, this is their minimum.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they could just do in their sleep.
Pretty good.
It's still better than like majority of the matches on this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for what you expect out of these two teams, it's definitely like, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there because it's like, I'm not saying that Ryan talking more about Tommy Dreamer versus Kenny King meant that was better.
No. I had more hatred for that one.
It's not.
No, it's just this was a good match. I expected more from it, and what do you want me to say about it? It was a good match. Should be more.
Yeah, it was a fine match that you can find on any show,
any TV show, really.
Yeah, you can find this on 90210. You can find this on Blue Bloods. You said any TV show, so I had to be a dick about it. Anyways,
Impact Knockouts World Title match. Trinity defeats Alicia Edwards.
Yeah, imagine my shock when I saw Alicia Edwards had a title match on a pay-per-view or a special show.
Yeah,
that was a choice.
I hated this match.
This was the match that you said was the worst.
I said this match was the worst match of the night. I can see the value in Bully Ray's match. I can see the value in Tommy Dreamer's. Alicia Edwards cannot sell at all. It's so bad. Scotty, she's in a finish. She's in the submission. She's in whatever Trinity's submission hold is, right? Right. This is the referee's out and they're doing the submission spot where, oh, the referee's not there and you can't. And Alicia wasn't even tapping, so I don't even know why. But Alicia's just like sitting there. She's not moving or anything. She's just sitting there, kind of like in pain, screaming, and then not even tapping. Like even doing like a frantic tap, it wouldn't matter because the referee's out. So just do that. Not even, just sitting there, not doing anything. And then Trinity adjusts it and does like this, like moves a leg over and makes it a little bit difficult. And that's the moment where like Eddie Edwards comes in. Doesn't matter. The ref's out. I don't know, whatever. But then Alicia, like the moment the hold is let go, she taps. It was like, why aren't you doing the entire time? And you're not even moving. You're not selling anything. God, she's Alicia Edwards is so bad. I don't enjoy her wrestling.
Way to kind of illustrate Alicia Edwards.
Sure.
She besides being terrible, and a nepotism aspect.
Sure.
She wrestled in so I don't know if you know what chaotic wrestling is. It's one of the local. It's like the local indie here in Massachusetts. Sure. She wrestled in the town over from me last year.
Mm-hmm.
In this you don't understand. Like this is a small ass indie. Like this isn't like I can't even think of like a indie that doesn't leave. This isn't like West Coast Pro. This is a small indie.
No, looking at their cage match,
and they wrestled in a small town. Like a small town.
Their location is says it is located in North Andover, Massachusetts.
That's where I went to college. And they wrestled in a Elks Lodge where my friend held his graduation from high school.
Wow.
That's not saying the lodge is big. That is saying the show is small.
Yeah.
And that's where she wrestled a year ago. I'm not being that guy that's saying like, oh, you wrestle a small show, that's bad. No.
She still wrestles small shows.
But that's the only place she wrestles outside of Impact, essentially.
On top of that, she's been wrestling since 2004.
That's crazy. Holy shit. I like Eddie Edwards a lot. Alicia, I've never seen a good Alicia Edwards match. That's okay.
She's 36 years old and has been wrestling since 2004, and I've seen better selling from a Killer Kelly match.
Anyways. I wonder who they're gonna give Trinity a Bound for Glory. I'm gonna guess on every single part of me that it's Jordan Grace.
You mean the other girl that won her match?
The other person in this division? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That should be a good match. Jordan Grace versus Trinity. That should honestly be a very good match.
They should just do Deanna and Jordan Grace again.
I'll be fine with that.
For the title.
Well, hey, if Jordan Grace is winning the title off of Trinity, which is not going to happen, then maybe we get a Deanna match in there as well. I don't know. I don't want to make it a triple threat. I take that back. Main event singles match: Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. I thought this was a really good world title match. Oh wait, hold on. I'm just getting this worded. Nope, this wasn't a world title match. No, okay, then this is a 5-main event.
Sure felt like one.
Yeah, this was the world title match that would have happened if Josh Alexander didn't get injured. Pretty much. That's how I read this.
Yeah, you tell him. If you didn't get injured.
Who am I telling? Sorry.
I don't know. You felt like you were attacking Josh Alexander.
No.
Yeah, if you didn't get injured, but you did.
We missed out on this 3.5-star match. How dare you, man?
That's exactly what I gave.
We missed out on a classic. What are we doing?
This was it was good.
Yeah.
Hard hitting. I look forward to Alex Shelley and Josh Alexander. That should be excellent.
Yeah, I agree. I think
I'm happy they waited on that.
Yeah, I this rate, I'm guessing that is the
spoiler alert. They announced it at the tapings last night.
Perfect.
Spoiler alert, a title change last night too.
Well, here I was going to do that as a preview, was us talking about the 1,000th episode of Impact Wrestling. Do we talk about the spoilers, or do we talk about the actual matches that are previewed or whatever?
We could.
I feel like we shouldn't talk about the spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil anything. Leo Rush lost his title.
Don't say who. Don't say the who.
I didn't say who. I totally didn't just say his name.
So of course they did a taping following the show on the next day for the 1,000th episode of Impact Wrestling, which unbelievable. This company was almost bankrupt.
Unreal.
At TNA Impact pay-per-view number 4. They're almost
unreal run. This is an all-time. Like, I need everyone to understand. This is an all-timer run.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Like, this might be the greatest run in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm not going to make a comparison because it's bad. But like this, they have been through every down imaginable.
Yes.
Dixie Carter
originally saved the company. That person, you know how Dixie Carter got into power was because the Jarretts needed money, and Dixie Carter was like, "Oh, my father likes your show. Here's some. Here, we can give you guys money." They
made it through the Jarretts 10 times.
If Dixie Carter wasn't around, Impact Wrestling wouldn't exist at this point. We wouldn't have this episode.
Here's some of the funniest things in Impact history. Right? They almost Jeff Jarrett left, right? And then they came back and he was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much going to make this global 4th Impact World Professional Wrestling." Yeah. And then they were like, "Nah."
Yeah.
But they survived that. They survived the Jeff Hardy thing, which is awful still to this day.
Yeah. The Hogan Bischoff run.
The Hogan Bischoff run. They made it through peak Angle and his many problems.
You want to take a guess? So obviously
Matt Hardy's many problems.
I talked about. I'm not rewatching, but watching the beginnings of Impact and going through sort of the retrospective there.
Big Impact guy. Yep.
Do you want to take a shot in the dark? This is post WCW. The Jarretts are starting this promotion.
Sure.
Who was the booker of WCW early on? I'd like to take a guess.
I don't remember. I know it's not Vince Russo, but
you are correct.
I was like, I know he booked this.
The silent booker of WCW at the very beginning was Vince Russo.
That's crazy, bro. He stinks. He's so bad.
Yeah, they survived Vince Russo.
They survived everything. They've survived 75 channel changes, 75 different owners, 75 different bookers, 75 different names.
Yeah.
This company has changed names like nobody's business. They've survived so much, and now they are here. And we are at a point now where we sometimes consider them pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I wanted to congratulate this. They're going to have Will Ospreay on goddamn Bound for Glory.
Is it Bound for Glory? I thought it was Turning Point.
He's doing Bound for Glory, then Turning Point.
Even better, baby.
I was like, how did this company go from 3 years ago?
I will say though, Will Ospreay is making his return to Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, yes. And I will. You know what's funny? The reason this company exists right now, still, is because of Matt Hardy being broken.
That could be true. I mean, that might be true.
Changed everything for them again. That made people watch Impact.
Yeah. Garrett Kidney, who is, I believe, on and off works for Impact Wrestling. I don't know what his current status, but obviously
He's like social or something.
Yeah, I think he's been on and off doing like social stuff for them. He has always talked about how if you wanted to define Impact Wrestling with one word, it's resiliency. This is a company that should have died 100 times over, 1,000 times, as many episodes that they're about to have. They should have died constantly, and they never had. They never have. They never will, seemingly.
They got that dog in them.
I don't want to say it in the derogatory sense, but rather in the sense of like the known fact about these creatures. Impact Wrestling is like the cockroach of professional wrestling. Whatever you do to them, they will not die. Like they simply will not die, and that is unbelievable. Unbelievable. They're the PCO of professional wrestling. They will not die. It's just insane. It's just insane.
They had Kenny Omega as their world champion.
They had Kenny Omega as their world champion, and he did huge business for them. Did huge business for them.
Truly, truly, truly an all-timer company. I congratulate them on making it to 1,000 episodes. Because let me tell you, they shouldn't have.
No, I mean, as much dog shit that they've put out, and
they've put out a lot,
and they put out great stuff too. You know, that early Vince Russo era sucked and all, but the best thing going for that early era was low key AJ Styles and Jerry Lynn all feuding together. Didn't all make sense at points, but they were putting on like
same AJ Styles we dunked on earlier.
Yeah, they were putting on like 4 to 5 star matches weekly, sometimes twice a taping.
They've never had a 5-star match.
They were Impact.
They have one.
They have one. They have the Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels match.
Yeah, that's right. That's really good.
That's great.
It's kind of funny that they only have one. Crazy.
Yeah, it's just like there's no reason for them to be around this long, and the fact that they have, mad respect.
This is where we play the game now.
No.
Mount Rushmore of TNA Impact.
All right. Okay. There was a tweet about that, and I did tweet and think about it for a little bit. I would say
I got my 3 out of 4 locked in.
Okay. I would say, are we talking about wrestlers or just like personalities surrounding it or whatnot?
We're gonna talk about the I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna say top 4.
Because Mount Rushmore, I know like Mount Rushmore for some people means different things. We're just gonna do top 4.
Yes,
I'm not thinking of like anything else.
You go ahead first. Give me a minute.
All right. So number 1 is AJ Styles.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's fair to call him the greatest ever of Impact TNA. That's pretty much his career. That made him an all-timer. Which doing that in TNA through everything they dealt with, that's incredible. Number 2, Gail Kim. I think Gail Kim is the women's representative for me in terms of the Impact history. I think she and the Knockouts, like I think the Knockouts need to be represented because what they did in the US is huge. Like a lot of people WWE likes to say that they started the women's evolution. The Knockouts did, you know, like they were doing real matches.
Yeah.
Years before, and Gail Kim and Awesome Kong were at the front of that. I'll give Gail Kim the nod though, and because she still does work for them too, so she's still important for them. Number 3, I'm gonna go Kurt Angle.
Okay,
I think Kurt Angle changed a lot for them. I think Kurt Angle was phenomenal for them. I think Kurt Angle's more debatable though than my last person, who is Sting.
Yeah, I would put Sting in there for sure.
Kurt Angle, I'm between Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Josh Alexander. I want to give some love to because the tag stuff, world champion. He's done a lot for them over the past couple of years. I wish I could put Motor City Machine Guns as 1.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was like if I could
put them as 1, they would be over Kurt.
Yeah, I would do them as one, Styles, Sting, and then probably Gail Kim. I'll probably
Then I'm agreeing with that. If I can put them as one, then yeah, they're definitely on there.
yeah, I would agree.
Okay, then cool. That's a lot of titles covered.
So they had their taping for the episode 1000th. The matches that were on there, or not, I'm not gonna say the matches.
It was a full taping plus 1000.
Full taping plus the 1000th episode or whatever. So they had Team 3D, who just signed allegedly a WWE Legends contract, reuniting. This is the first time we're seeing Devon Dudley in a ring in quite a long time.
Forever.
And for a very, very, very long time. I don't know how long.
I just learned that he doesn't work for WWE anymore.
No, he got. I believe he got let go during the pandemic.
I thought he left himself.
I don't quite remember. There is a huge 10-woman tag team match. Trinity, Jordan Grace, Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, and Mystery Person. If you care about,
I see who it was. It's like the least shocking mystery person you could imagine.
And then they were against Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, Angelina Jolove, and another mystery person.
You almost said Jolie.
Jolie? Who's Jolie?
I heard you say Angelina
Angelina Jolove. They also had Frankie Kazarian and Tracy Brooks against Eddie Edwards and Alicia Edwards.
They had your guy on there. America's Most Wanted.
Oh, of course. They got America's Most Wanted in there for a match. World title match, Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel. They had Ultimate X match. They had Jake Something versus Dirty Dango for some reason they announced. They also had the return of Feast or Fired, which what do you know about that gimmick?
I know someone gets fired.
Yeah, so
I knew that was the main part of the match. The feast part's like whatever.
It's essentially I guess a battle royal or whatever, and there's 4 briefcases in the corner, and you have to climb up and get them. Typically, it's like a briefcase is a world title match, a tag title match, a X Division title match, and then a pink slip, so they get fired. I believe
I saw who the 4 were that won.
Yes. Can we talk about that, though? I do want to talk about that. That's the only spoiler.
Yeah, because we're never going to talk about TV, so we could spoil it.
That's the only spoiler I want to talk about.
So your 4 were...
I don't know who... Well, obviously, we don't know who got what case, but...
No, we don't. It was Chris Bay, Crazy Steve, Moose, and Yuya Uemura.
Okay, so who's getting what? Is Yuya getting the pink slip? I mean, go and then leaving and going back to New Japan?
It's either him or Crazy Steve.
How dare you say that about Crazy Steve?
Well, maybe Crazy Steve just wrap it up, but didn't they just have him beat Black Taurus?
Yeah.
That would be a choice.
No, yeah. To me, that's X Division.
I really hope Yuya got the pink slip.
Yeah. To me, if I had to put it, I think the most obvious thing for me is Moose World Title, Crazy Steve X Division, Chris Bay as Tag Division. He can do that with Ace Austin, obviously.
And I'd be so sick if Chris Bay got anything besides tag teams.
I agree. Alex Shelley versus Chris Bay. I mean, that's a really solid match you could do. And then Yuya Uemura, I hope, gets the pink slip, and then he goes back to New Japan.
Wait a minute, they had an Ultimate X match too?
Yep, they also had an Ultimate X match.
So they had pretty much 2 X Division #1 contenders crowned?
In a way. Well, we don't know. It's a mystery, I guess. It could be one of these 4 people. It could be Yuya for all we know.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. And also it's also possible that people would defend these briefcases at some point. They lose it. It goes to somebody else.
I'm gonna watch all these matches.
Oh, I am too.
This is gonna be the one time I'm gonna watch them all. Yeah,
I'm 100% gonna watch this episode.
For some reason, I feel the need. I need to watch Team 3D,
and probably their last wrestling match for a very long time. I'm gonna take a guess.
I hope they wouldn't be coming back after.
I hope.
You say in a very long time. They don't have a long time in the ring. You know, like it's either now or never.
I hope there's a cheese.
I look forward to their Raw 35 or whatever number we're at run in.
That's probably true. That is probably true. How old is Bully Ray's 52, same age as Tommy Dreamer. Devon 51. 51. hasn't wrestled since 2016. That's how long it's been.
A long time.
They lost in the kickoff match for SummerSlam. That's putting over some talent. Also a show this Saturday. It's coming up this Saturday. The CMLL's 90th anniversary show. Big time show for CMLL.
This show, kind of a letdown.
Kind of a letdown. What do you think?
For what CMLL has been this year.
I can see that. I can sort of see that. I think it's still going to be very good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they haven't missed this year.
But I get what you're
still
saying.
upset about it.
You wish there's some sort of Rocky Romero singles match, maybe.
I wish there was other people's singles matches instead of Dragon Rojo Jr.
Yeah.
Can't stand that guy.
Yeah.
He stinks.
It's so disappointing seeing Soberano Jr. and Teton not in a singles match.
Soberano Jr., Mascara, Dorada 2.0, Teton. Like, these guys are all my guys, and they're just... But it looks like a good show still. So.
Yeah, so we have a Copa Independencia tournament. There is a tag team match with Angel de Oro and Volador Jr. teaming up together to take on Averno and Ultimo Guerrero. The winners of that match will face each other later in the show in a hair versus hair match. So that hair versus hair match will either be Angel de Oro versus Volador Jr. or Averno versus Ultimo Guerrero. I would have to imagine Volador Jr. Could be Ultimo Guerrero, probably, but probably Volador Jr.
It's definitely gonna be Volador.
Yeah. There's a Legends Trios tag team match: Atlantis, Blue Panther, and Octagon versus Fuerza Guerrera, Santico, and Virus. Fine, cool, all right.
Okay.
There's a tag team match to crown the inaugural CMLL World Women's Tag Team Champions. Give me a minute. La Cheetah, Luvia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Zukis. That's all I got.
My favorite part is like, all right, give me a second.
Botches it immediately.
They have a new prospect. I saw.
I also have heard that. I forget her name.
She's like 19.
Yes.
And I saw a clip and I was like, oh shit, she might be like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting. Wish I remember her name. Anyways, Stephanie Vaquer wins.
Yeah, I have a full belief. The only one that has a picture on our Wikipedia page. I fully believe Stephanie Vaquer's team.
Stephanie Vaquer's like miles ahead of so many people. Yeah. And I'm hoping because she's doing so, I know she's not wrestling Julia like I hoped. But I'm hoping because she's doing that show that like people are like, oh, she has a passport. You know, she can wrestle. Or visa, whatever, not passport. She has a visa. She can wrestle here in the US.
Yeah.
More people book her. She's excellent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this whole show.
I am as well.
I didn't finish previewing it even a little. That's my bad.
Tag team match: Soberano Jr. and Teton teaming up against each other versus Lucha House Party, Lince Dorado and Samurai del Sol. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. They just had Metalik in this company. They could have done the trios match. Why didn't they? Why not just do it?
Because Metalik got angry.
They got kicked out of the company, basically, pretty much.
Dude stinks. It's whatever. He's on stink, but he's not as good as he used to be.
Yeah, which is pretty much what CMLL told him. It's like, well, you're not as good as you used to be.
They're like, you're kind of slow. Yeah, we're good. We're not going to pay that much.
But we are going to pay for Lince Dorado and Samurai del Sol.
I would do anything for Soberano Jr. and Teton to be in a different match.
Even a match against each other, I would love that.
I think they're doing that soon.
They probably
there's some voting thing going on that I have yet to figure out what it really is. Actually, no, it's going to be Dorada and Teton, I think. Whatever. Okay. Either way, why did you bring these to it?
I know. I mean, I appreciate
like they're fine.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure the match will be better because it's in Arena Mexico.
Sure, it's a big time match.
Everything's better in there. Arena Mexico is like the Tokyo Dome.
I know.
Everything's 0.5 better.
Trios tag team match: Atlantis Jr., Mascara Dorada, and Mystico.
Baby.
Versus Rocky Romero.
That's Dream Team right there.
Versus Rocky Romero, TJP, and Kevin Knight.
such a random match, but it's probably the match I'm looking forward to the most.
It should be a very good match, honestly.
No Rocky singles match is maybe the big letdown of this show because like he's been the best wrestler in CMLL this year outside of my boy Mystico. Also, we don't talk about CMLL enough, but the stock on Atlantis Jr. has plummeted.
I know. I've heard. I'm in the middle of catching up, but I've heard that the stock is plummeting.
Yeah. I remember last year you were like, "This is the guy." He had a great match. Match of his career, and I was like, "Yeah, I could see it." And then he had kind of like a forgettable showing at Fantastica Mania.
Mm-hmm.
And this year
wasn't bad.
No, but this year I've seen Soberano Jr. and Dorada now and Teton and pretty much everyone do better than him. So it's tough. But he's not doomed.
No, he's not doomed. It's just he's on the back burner right now. We have that hair versus hair match that we talked about, where it's either El Hell de Horo versus Volador Jr. or Verno versus Ultimo Guerrero, and then we have a mask versus mask match: Templario versus Dragon Rojo Jr. You already talked about it. You didn't like Dragon Rojo.
Templario's awesome.
Templario is really good. I've really been enjoying Templario this year.
I'm sure the match will be good because it'll be emotional.
Yeah, I mean, mask versus mask match. I mean, Templario is still very young in his career. He's 31 years old. Dragon Rojo Jr., it's probably going to be him losing his mask. He's 40. But it feels like he's revitalized his career in a weird sense in this past year. Like, he's really been bumping up the card all year long to get to this point.
I just can't believe they're making him main event.
Yeah, well, making him main event? What do you mean?
Their biggest show of the year. Why is he in the main?
That's fair. I like the idea of like gun to his head. You're main eventing this show.
You're main eventing. Well, they kind of are. They're like, your match is coming up, buddy.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
maybe they are making them.
That might be true.
I would, if I got to book a perfect 90th anniversary show, and I know they have to do mask versus mask, so there's not really a perfect 90th anniversary show because you don't want anyone that's like good to lose their mask.
Yeah.
Still.
But it's Blue Panther versus Bryan Danielson. That's right.
Yeah. Exactly.
This show, we joking around and all this stuff, but the CMLL has been great all year long, and last year's show was great. They've been great all year long. This show, it could be a better card for sure, but
they've been a top 5 promotion for me this year.
Yeah, it is. If you have the time to go check it out, definitely go check it out. Should I say how you checked it out? How you watch it? Probably. Do I know how you watch it?
Look at Lucha Blog's Twitter. I'll post the link.
I was about to say, literally looking up Lucha Blog stuff right now if I can see any sort of a thing that says about it, because I literally have no clue how you can watch this show.
Also, I actually bought one from 2 weeks ago. I bought the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
It works really well. You have it for the whole weekend too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. You just literally get the link. Like there's no code or anything. So it's actually really good. You know what's a crime?
What's that?
And I know why this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know why. But Dragon Rojo Jr. is ranked as a 7.88 on Cage Match.
Uh-huh.
Mystico is a 7.63.
That's a crime.
That is disgusting. I know why Mystico's lower is because, like, if you watch him in WWE, it's not helping him.
Yeah.
But god damn it, people. What are we doing? Mystico's amazing. I love that guy. Also, shout out Kevin Knight, huh?
Kevin Knight getting a big time spot in Arena Mexico. That's gonna be good for him. This guy.
The other two are used to it.
Yeah. These guys, Kevin Knight's guy got a future.
That's gonna be the match of the night.
Probably.
Unless like Rojo and Templario go insane in the mask versus max stip.
Which is totally possible.
It is. It very much is. What was the match last year AAA did that was phenomenal? Penta versus who? Pentagon. Yeah, the mask versus match that was really good.
Oh, in AAA? Oh,
I meant AAA, sorry.
Yeah, I was like CMLL Pentagon.
Yeah,
No.
I was trying to think of the mask versus mask match that shouldn't have been as good, but was really good because it was a mask versus mask match.
It was Pentagon versus Viano
Oh
3.
yes, yes, yes. That
Uh,
was really good.
but even last year for the CMLL show, they had that mask versus mask match, which was Atlantis Jr. versus Stuka Jr., and that match was also great.
Well, Stuka Jr. is still very good, to be fair.
Yes. So that
Like
was a great match.
Volano's arguably not that good at
Mhm,
it,
mhm, mhm.
but it worked.
Yeah,
Lucha, Lucha's really good at working around deficiencies.
agreed.
It's
Completely
why,
agreed.
like, and this isn't a shot at him, but it's why, like, I think Jericho works really well is because he's taken on a lot of that lucha brawler
Mhm.
aspect, and it's made his career longer.
Yeah,
Um, so
I can agree with
yeah,
that.
watch CMLL. Should be great.
Watch CMLL somehow.
Is that on Friday?
It is on. Great question. It is on. Give me one moment. I believe it's on Saturday. Yes, Saturday the
Oh,
16th, September 16th.
Remix could have sold out. I'm pretty sure.
I know at least the lower bowl has been
Yeah,
sold out.
WrestleTix has been all over that one.
Yeah, I know that they've at least been sold out there. Well, we had a couple of discussion topics to talk about as well, just sort of getting different ideas out there. We have been recording for almost 2 hours though. So do we want to tackle maybe one, or do we want to just close up shop here?
I guess we could tackle one.
All right. Let's talk about sort of. Let's do that one. Let's do what do we want out of specific promotions for the rest of the year. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Discussion topics.
yeah,
Is this a new segment on the show? Discussion Junction. Discussion
yeah.
Junction. What's your
There's probably a better
conversation?
name for that, but that's fine.
Is this discussion topic section essentially what the Q&A section is, but instead of asking people for the questions, we gave it to each other? Maybe
Yeah.
that's fine. But if you have any questions, of course, give them, tweet at us, or if only we had some sort of place you can call or something. I don't know. Maybe there's something on screen. I don't know.
Who are you gonna call?
Well,
Ghostbusters or Ring Post Radio?
I'll put together a little a little bit. So what do we want out of specific promotions for the rest of the year? This is a discussion conversation you brought up of. It's September. We're almost at the end of the year line. What are we sort of looking for to make different promotions, various promotions have even better years, or turn things around? I guess for some promotions, what do we sort of want out of these promotions to make things better? I'll start off. Well, not start off. I don't think this would be more of not a sort of formatted thing. Just sort of talking about what sort of promotions, what sort of ideas we had for various things. Do you have any up at top, Scotty?
Yeah, I think we should start with the AE dub.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, number one is we talked about it when CM Punk got fired. This is a time to turn things around, right some sort of ships, and get their thing rolling. And it's all going to come down to what it looks like without CM Punk now.
After yesterday, I'm looking for as many Brian Danielson dream matches as possible now. That's what I'm looking for.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
We're off to a good start. I'd
One
say,
one per pay per
but
view. I'll take.
yeah, like I don't know how serious he is about the 1 year thing, but like he's someone that I don't think just lies,
Well,
unfortunately.
there was a quote there. He says, "I love lying."
That's true. That's true. I hope he does.
Uh huh.
I hope he does. Because I don't want to. He loves wrestling too much. I just feel like he will never be fully gone.
Yeah.
But either way,
It
I'd like to
is.
see that.
Well, it's fascinating because it's like there is an interview that says that he wants to wrestle as long as possible. Like he's like, I want to wrestle till like I'm 60 or 70 or whatever. And then there's a promo he cuts where he's like, "Oh, my daughter's turning 7. I only have a year left because I promised my daughter." It's like, are you wrestling for the next several decades, Brian, or are you wrestling for a year? You tell me what.
I think him moving to Saturdays actually will help him
Agreed. I can agree.
a lot. I could see him go a lot further. But for now, let's make it a story. Um, one of the big things I want AEW to do is rebuild Hangman Page, and we have already very much started that off in maybe the most perfect feud ever for my preference, and that is him and Swerve.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that for me.
No. Yeah.
I think making those two work off each other to better both of them
Mm-hmm.
is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Hangman Page kind of rising back up, especially with Punk now gone,
Yep.
is very important. And my last thing for AEW is to, kind of keep doing the great work I think they've done overall with their titles this year.
Yeah.
In the past, I've been very like, the titles almost don't matter sometimes.
Sure.
This year, I will say the one thing they've nailed is making their titles matter. Whether it's Christian Cage and the work he's done, with the TNT title that isn't his, Orange Cassidy, obviously, and then going to John Moxley, I think that's going to be great.
Yep.
Um, Even MJF has made that title feel very important, but I think the world title's always
Mm-hmm.
felt important.
Mm-hmm.
The women's Chris Statlander's doing a great job.
Yeah, she's definitely made the TBS title feel more important.
Saraya
A
hasn't
downgrade.
done anything yet, so I can't
Yeah.
really say anything.
Currently a
But
downgrade, but we'll see. We have to see what it looks like.
yep, I'm not someone that will judge before
Mm-hmm.
I get to see how it looks. I'm not jazzed for it because if it's gonna be Saraya and Britt, it's gonna be so bad.
I'm not gonna judge, but I am gonna compliment, or I'm not gonna judge on her title reign just yet. I will say that it has a bigger hill to climb than most.
It sure does, and I think overall the continuation of the women's division's growth is obviously a big part. I've liked what they've done with Chris literally just this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Emi Sakura and Robin Renegade. Like,
Mhm.
listen, Robin Renegade's not like a big name yet, and I think both the Renegades will be big.
Uh-huh.
Because I think they're excellent. But like, that's all I'm looking for. 2 solid matches on TV.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. So keep building, keep using Chris to do so. There's a lot of good, I think, to come from the rest of the year. And I'm excited for Wrestle Dream now.
I'll add
Don't add more pay-per-views. That's my last.
don't add more pay-per-views.
We're done. Wrestle Dream in full gear.
To that point though, I will say on a business sense, if you can fucking figure out this HBO Max deal, I would love it. But I don't know what we're waiting on or what's happening. But maybe it's the fact that because of all these writer strikes that HBO Max lost 300 to 500 million dollars. They lost the entire budget of like a movie or two, maybe 3 movies.
I hear that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's basically 3 movies that they could have made, but instead they didn't have they had to just waste that budget. Maybe they put it into something else. I don't know. It seems like they didn't, but yeah, no, it's frustrating. Hopefully, let's figure out this Max deal. And although I guess kind of business wise, also kind of creative. There are a couple free agents floating around that Scotty talked about making the women's division a little bit better. Let's hey Mercedes, hey you're free. I would think not. This isn't really like what I hope for. I think it is inevitable that as soon as Mercedes Moné is healed, she will be in this company. I think that's an inevitability. And I can't wait for it. WWE. I don't know, man. How do you turn around what I want from WWE from the rest of the year? I don't know. More interesting promotion, less bloodline storylines. I don't know, things that are working for them financially that I'm fully not invested in. I don't know. It's tough because it's like everything's working for them. I think going back to our first topic, I think what I really want out of WB this year is to not completely fire a crap ton of wrestlers. In a way,
yeah, that'd be nice.
In a way, it will be nice because there's a potential that we'll see other people.
Sounds like the minimum.
At minimum, it will be nice to see other people potentially flourish in other destinations. However, that being said, let's not have a whole lot of people losing jobs after this merger. And yeah, that's really all I got. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I have two.
Sure.
I have two. As someone who I don't watch every show of WWE, I think I'd go insane if I ever did that.
Yeah.
But I do jump in a little bit here and there. I see a little Raw, a little NXT. SmackDown's unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
Like SmackDown is an unwatchable show.
Mm-hmm.
How that happened, I have no idea. But I think one thing they have to do is they need to call up NXT talent
Yeah.
badly. Ilya Dragunov's ready, or Carmelo Hayes, one of those two. Um, I watched Braun Breaker like kill Von Wagner or something the other day. Probably just call him up. I think they have a lot of talent that are ready and that would actually really refresh them, especially on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would do. And the other thing is just keep playing a little bit to that work ratey stuff. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Walter, Gunther, whatever you want to call them.
Rollins.
They've
To a certain
given
extent.
the main roster probably their best in-ring year in
Yeah.
like a long time.
I can
Just
agree with that.
between those three alone.
I can agree with that.
I can add Seth in from time to time as well. I mean, Seth's dependent on opponent. Like he's not getting much out of
Nakamura.
Shinsuke in the year of 2023.
Yeah.
Um,
I also like
I
Cody.
think
I think another high profile feud for Cody would be nice too. He's kind of
that would be good.
he's kind of doing nothing
That would
right
be
now.
good. Yeah, they clearly a little lost with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those three things that if we add in the Cody, I think that would be good. I think that would help me interest wise.
Yeah, I think for them, the problem with WWE right now is that we're sort of seeing what the fallout of the merger is going to be, but then
Yeah.
also they're not really trying to make any moves, substantial moves, up until the TV rights. Once they get those settled, I think then we can see some more stuff because they're trying to include NXT as part of those TV rights negotiations, right? So they're trying to get a bunch of money. So I don't necessarily think we'll get those NXT call ups. I think you're right. It'd be nice to see some people called up. But since they're actively trying to do that, I think it's like see how the merger goes and see what kind of fallout that's going to be. And then see when the TV rights deals gets negotiated and figured out, then all of that. And that won't all be happening until next year. But so it's just sort of like I think in a weird way, I think starting Tuesday, WWE for me is gonna be like in a little bit of a limbo till end of the TV rights negotiation.
Also, the end of the year for them usually kind of stinks, so we'll see how that goes.
You got Survivor Series in Chicago. Are we bringing in Punk? Is that something? Are we bringing in Punk?
That would be hell. If they bring in Punk, there's different conversations to be had.
Speaking of bringing in Punk, Impact. Do we got anything on Impact?
Impact deliver a good Bound for Glory.
Yeah, that's really
my big thing.
That's really what you got to do right now.
I think for them, like even last year, I remember Bound for Glory kind of being like whatever.
Bound for Glory in Chicago.
I think nailing Bound for Glory is like very important for them.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because they'll nail like the most random ass shows. You know,
you mean the Impact Plus shows?
Yeah, and then the pay-per-views will be like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
You know? Nail Bound for Glory. You have Osprey coming in, you have Shelley versus Alexander. It's a pretty good start.
They're gonna do Bully Ray versus Tommy Dreamer for the Impact Digital Media title, aren't they? That's probably the Bound for Glory match, isn't it? I just realized that.
So hear me out.
I'm gonna cheese grate my own balls.
So hear me out. The good thing is that they're in one match, so you can just completely skip.
I can hand wave an entire match.
They can't ruin two matches. You know?
Yeah.
They can only ruin one.
That's fair. Anything else we want out of Impact? Not that match. Vacate the digital media title.
I don't know. Resign Deanna.
Yeah, whenever her contract's coming up.
Yeah. And I guess by default, if I go back to AEW, sign Deanna.
Mm-hmm. And
One of you two go get her.
if you're not bringing in Mercedes yet for AEW,
Even if you are.
even if you are, put her in Impact for a match. Do that Mickey James thing or whatever that she's been wanting forever.
She wants to wrestle Trinity if she does Impact. Come on.
Well, you do a tag match. You do Mercedes and Trinity versus Mickey James and Jordan Grace.
Sure. Why not?
Trinity. Who's facing Trinity? Sure, Jordan Grace.
What do you want to see from Noah this year? Go Shiozaki pinning Jake Lee.
The end of Jake Lee's title reign, number one.
That's it. That's all I need.
If not by the hands of Go Shiozaki, then of course by the hands of El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
At the hands of anyone.
I'll take
by God, do I miss the days of Kazuyuki Fujita going over because he didn't want to lose?
Yeah.
Where's that? Where's my Noah bed? That was mine.
Yeah, I would say push Kaito Kiyomiya better. Use him properly.
Oi was pretty good though.
Yeah,
Oi was awesome.
What else?
Just get rid of Jake Lee as your top guy.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's really all I want right now.
That's literally why I brought up Noah. Just so we could say that.
The Ospreay Marufuji match is next week. That should be good.
Here's our preview. That's it.
That's pretty much it. It's gonna be a great match, and I can't wait for it. But how do you preview one match? Ring of Honor, be better. I don't know.
Be a product.
I've seen so many people tweet in the last week that
really.
Yeah, can you believe
about
it?
Ring of Honor?
About Ring of Honor, specifically about how they're just. I've seen so many people, like diehard wrestling fans, throwing in the towel of Ring of Honor and just saying, I've been watching it, and now I'm at the point of nothing is happening on that show. Nothing of note is ever worth talking about. They do these random ass TV title tournaments, and then they don't do anything with Shane Taylor, and then they throw him on a pay-per-view to get squashed in 6 minutes. It's just like, I've seen so many people tweet in the past week about how they're throwing in the towel of Ring of Honor. And I don't know. Here's a question. Here's a slight tangent of a discussion topic. Is Ring of Honor better now that Tony Khan has purchased it?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the alternative to it
the pay-per-views are.
The pay-per-views are great. I guess the alternative to Ring of Honor is not existing whatsoever.
Yeah, I guess so. This is definitely better.
But if I had to pick what Ring of Honor was beforehand and what Ring of Honor is currently, I would easily pick what it was before. Yeah, no one watched it, but it was pretty good. It was actually pretty good.
It was a weekly television show worth watching.
Yeah. I would way better. It was way better than Impact. I thought it was more interesting than Impact. I was into it.
Congratulations to them.
I know. What a bar to cross.
You're right though.
Yeah, it was a more interesting weekly television show, and now it's just like there's nothing happening on these shows.
The only reason you watch Ring of Honor right now is to see what Athena's doing.
Yeah,
That's it.
But
by the way, back to AEW, do something with Athena. Enough of this Ring of, like everyone else that has Ring of Honor titles is on AEW television.
They are doing. You and I.
That's it.
You and I talked about how we thought that maybe Final Battle was Eddie Kingston versus Claudio. They're doing it for Grand Slam for AEW.
Yeah,
I mean they still might do it for Final Battle, but still.
I think this is like worth pointing out, right? Ring of Honor television title champion, whatever. Samoa Joe gonna have an AEW World Title match. Claudio gets to defend his title on the main shows. MJF and Adam Cole on TV every week.
Or Dynamite. winning on All In.
Shibata even on AEW lately.
Uh-huh.
Why is Athena not?
That's a great point. Why are all the other champions except for Athena?
Why is the best champion not?
She was on All Out's pre-show.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Sick. Sweet.
Yeah. But that is a really good point. Especially like Tony Khan outwardly praising the what Athena has been doing in
Yeah.
Ring
Just
of Honor.
put her on TV.
Yeah, it is confusing. I don't know.
It doesn't even make sense.
I guess that's
And then
the
New
thing.
Japan, our last one.
New Japan. I don't know. New Japan, I thought it's been pretty good this year. I don't really know.
They're pretty much done for the year.
Yeah, it's pretty much, we're just now building up to Wrestle Kingdom. So it's like we have the Super Junior Tag League coming up, which will be fine or whatever. There's the World Tag League, and then
at separate times.
And then
I want to see historic crossover. That's what I want to see. It would be stupid not to.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like they did a great number last year. One of their best numbers of the past few years.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see from New Japan, and ultimately by Stardom as well. I don't think either of them have the control. I think it's a Bushiroad call at the end of the day. But yeah, New Japan just needs to build to Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, just build successfully to Wrestle Kingdom. That's all you got to do. Make sure you have great matches. I don't know. Like, make sure these destruction shows are great, and your finals or whatever are good, and you have a couple defenses and whatnot across the board, and it should be good. I mean, get me hyped. Get success. What do you need to do successfully? Get me hyped for Wrestle Kingdom. That's all you got to do.
What do they need to do for you? They need to give you a big Will Ospreay match.
What they need to do for me, have Jake Lee win the IWGP.
All right. That's it. We're done.
Bye, everybody. Well, we got to do our plugs. We got to do we can't. We got to do the plugs and whatnot. I was so close to saying bye, everybody, and heading out.
So close. You said it.
I said bye, and then cut myself off. All right. Things to plug. Scotty, anything to plug?
Start with check out the most recent episode of Stardom Road. That I don't remember what it was about. Oh, the SWA Championship.
Yes,
very timely with the strong woman's title that has kind of taken over the role.
I was about to say.
Yeah, it's just that was the point of it. Follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter, X, whatever you prefer to call it. I think that's mostly it. Just doing other 5-star Grand Prix stuff for now.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, in the middle of the Grand Prix, quiet week otherwise in wrestling, other places. So my match of the week actually was the best, what I am calling personally, the best singles match in All Japan this year, which was...
Is it Kento Miyahara versus Yuma Anzai?
Yeah, first time ever.
I have it written down. I have it written down for sure.
Yeah, I would watch that in the Joshi match because Suri and Kairi beat the piss out of each other. It was a really good show. Big win. Kento and Yuma were awesome. I don't know how that's not your big match feud for the next decade. It's Yuma Anzai is like, he's so good. He's so good. He's about to hit his year anniversary.
Yeah, plucking him out of the Noah tournament. Oh no, that tournament's over. Number one.
That's why Yuji Nagata got kicked out. They're like, you're not taking him from us.
Yeah, I don't really have a match of the week because I've been sort of catching up, and everything I've sort of been watching has been fine.
Mid.
Yeah, it hasn't really been anything fun. I mean, Yuma Anzai. Oh, I think I'll say this. Jack Morris.
Double Yuma Anzai? Oh.
No, I can do double Yuma Anzai. Yuma Anzai versus El Hijo do Dr. Wagner Jr. from night 6 of the N1 victory as I catch up. I'm on night 7? No, I'm on night 8. I'm on night 8, which is essentially...
I can't believe you're still watching that thing.
Well, yeah. I'm on night 8, and it's 4 matches I got to watch, and then it's night 9. It's been a busy week for me, so I haven't really... Jesse's mom was in town, so we did a bunch of wedding stuff.
Yeah.
So that was all important, I guess.
Mom. Sorry.
Wow. I'm right here, man. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan.
Not my fault. The song is... Never mind.
Follow the whole show and everything else on the Count Out Network at Count Out Pod. Great shows on Countdown Network, including the now canceled Stardom Road. Your Dose of Death, Okada Shorts.
I sang the wrong song.
Oh, that's a show, baby. That's how you wrap up the show. Patreon.
Thank you.
Patreon.com/countoutpod for all your bonus content needs. Yeah, great stuff over there. And until then, we'll talk to you next week about way more stuff happening in the wrestling world instead of going crazy. I'm Ryan. That's Scotty. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.